as usual, you're just going to need your mat. We're not going to use any props today. I know we used the fascial release ball yesterday. Not going to bring that in today, but again, if you do want to have a little block or a prop for yourself, then just have that handy. And I just thought for myself, you know, things are starting to feel like they're loosening up a little bit. So I want to start focusing on getting strength back in again. So focusing on a little bit of stability work, activating core, you know, so a little bit more on the traditional Pilates side. So we're going to start in a seated position, and you're going to have your knees bent and separate your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. And the reason I do that for myself is that sometimes the hip flexors feel like they start to pinch a little bit. So taking your feet wider apart and letting the knees open out slightly releases the hips. Otherwise, you can also just move your bum a little bit away from your feet. And then you're going to overlap your elbow and your hand on your knees. So you've created a little ledge for yourself here. Round your spine. Let your head come forward to rest on your arms, and just make any adjustments that you need so that you feel that you can sit here for a minute or so without having to fidget or change anything. And just roll your head lightly across your forehead, rolling from side to side, just to release into the neck, into the cervical spine. And then center yourself here. Allow your eyes to close and just take a moment to settle into the shape, connecting into your breath. And you might have noticed that each of the classes over this past week, we've been starting in a different position, either lying on our backs or lying on our stomachs, seated upright. So we're coming into a seated, curved spine position. And it's one of the best ways to feel our breath moving into the back of our lungs, the back of our ribs, and finding that release into the lumbar spine and into the lower back. You just allow your breath to slow down. Taking a little bit of a scan over your body, maybe noticing any unnecessary tension. Can you let it go? And it really helps if you lengthen each of your exhales to help yourself soften and release that tension. Taking just a few more moments here. Just allowing yourself to be completely present in your body and on your mat. We're just going to take one final breath in through the nose. Long exhale through your mouth this time. And then blink your eyes open. Start to unravel your spine so you're lifting up nice and tall. Hook your hands just around the fronts of your knees, keeping your feet wide apart. Start curling your spine backwards. And you don't have to go too far back to start off with. If you can straighten the arms, then that's great, but don't force it. And then curl forward. And at the very top of your movement, just create some length and height through your spine. And again, using your breath out. And then as you curl forward, using your inhale to guide you up. Taking two more. Finding that little bit of mobility around your spine. One more time, exhale. Pull yourself forward, lifting all the way up and tall and holding it here. Letting your left knee open to the side, bring your left foot a little closer in towards you, left hand to the ground, and right elbow to the inside of your right knee. Let yourself sink and sigh back. So you can actually let that shoulder hunch up. And then inhale as you lift up and create a little bit of a spiral towards the left. Exhale, sink back. Inhale. So you'll notice that your pelvis is going to roll back as you sink back. Your arm's going to slide along your knee. And then as you come up, you're going to roll forward on your pelvis and your hand's going to slide forward along the knee. So allow those movements and just keeping it as soft as possible. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, sink, sigh back. Bringing that left foot out towards the side. Tucking your right foot in. Other side, right hand to the ground. Left elbow to the inside of your left knee. Sink back, just letting your shoulder hunch up slightly. And we inhale, lifting up and spiraling to the right. And we exhale. Inhale, open twist. Exhale. Taking just 3 more. And remember, I've said this before with our spiraling, that we don't want to force the position. Let your breath create the movement from the inside out. Your arms are just there for a little bit of support and guidance. Sink back on the last one, and then unfold and stand on both your feet. This time, take your hands out. Lengthen up nice and tall. Exhale, curling back. And again, just seeing how far back you can go without straining into the lower back or into the neck. Roll forward and lift up through the crown of your head. Using your breath, get the sensation of pulling your belly away from your thighs. And again, roll forward, lift up. 3 more. Last 2. So because we've taken the hands away from the legs, you're going to feel that there's much more loading into your abdominals. So maybe your movement has to be a little bit smaller. That's absolutely fine. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, come forward, lift up nice and tall. And bring your hands behind you now, fingers pointing out, and you're leaning back as if you're sitting on the beach. Roll both your knees towards the left. And then roll both your knees over towards the right. And it's quite a free, easy movement. You don't have to think too much about technique here. You might find that your pelvis starts to wiggle backwards slightly as you move. So if you need to readjust your placement of hands or feet, you can go for it. Taking just 1 more time to each side. Come back to the center and hold it there. Walk your knees and feet towards each other. Stretch your left leg out. Pick up your right foot and just cross your ankle above your knee as best you can. Lean back. If you need to bend the elbows, go for it. And then bend the left leg so you can place your left foot to the ground. Now start to press up and coming into a little bit of a gluteal stretch here. So you should be feeling a stretch along that right bottom. Sitting up as tall as you can without straining into the lower back. And then if it feels good for you, do a little bit of a rocking from side to side. So that oftentimes helps to release the fascia around that hip joint. And this can be quite dense, thick fascia because it's designed to help stabilize the pelvis, but sometimes it gets really tight. So it's finding that balance between mobility and stability. And then bring yourself to center, bend your elbows to lean back, slide the left leg forward, and then just unfold the right leg and give your knees just a little bit of a shake. Lean back so you can pick up your left leg, cross the ankle above the knee. Bend your elbows, lean back, slide that right foot in towards you, and then press up so you're sitting out of your hips a little bit. Breathing into it. And you might notice that the one side is tighter. Yeah, quite normal if you're right-handed or left-handed or any injuries. And then let's try that very gentle, small rocking. Come just back to the center. Bend your elbows, slide the right leg out, extend the left leg out, giving your knees a little bit of a shake. And now bend your knees, but this time you're going to have your knees and feet a little bit closer so that they're parallel. Arms reach all the way out in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. Exhale, curl halfway back. Abdominals connecting. Roll forward and lift up nice and tall. And again, 4 more. Do you notice that now we've brought the legs a little bit closer, more of a parallel position, that it's definitely a bit more challenging because the hip flexors are going to be switching on more. So that will automatically start to load the abdominals. If it's painful in any way, then just take your feet wide again, like we did before. 2 more. Release forward. Last one. Roll forward, lifting up nice and tall. And now allow your knees to open. Bring your left foot in towards your pelvis. Right foot comes towards the front. Just pull the flesh of your bum up the back. I'm going to turn to face you. I'll do a mirror image so you can see what we're going to do here. So taking your hands with your palms facing upwards, we're going to inhale to reach all the way up, connecting fingertip to fingertip, and then exhale and open your arms nice and wide. 2 more. Breathing in and breathing out. 1 more time. Breathing in. And this time, open your arms just out to the side so that you're stopping just a little bit lower than your shoulders. Now bring your right elbow forward. Bring your left elbow on top and then bend your elbows so that you're creating a little bit of a bind. So this might already be quite a strong stretch around the neck and shoulders. But if you can, turn the palms of your hands out and then see if you can start to bring your fingers and the backs of your hands towards each other. That might be enough of a release for you. Otherwise, why don't you create more of a bind to wrap your hands around and hold it here. Get a little bit of length along the back of your neck. So these are called eagle arms. And a wonderful release for the upper trapezius muscles, the rhomboids muscles between the shoulder blades, the back of the shoulder, that's called the posterior deltoid. Sometimes the rotator cuff can get really tight. Just make sure you can breathe into it. And then releasing your hands, uncurl, bring both arms out to the side, and then exhale, releasing your hands down. So switch your legs around. So now you're going to have your left leg to the front, sit up nice and tall, palms facing up. We inhale, reach up. And exhale, open arms wide to the side. 2 more, breathing in. Breathing out. Last one, inhale, reach up. Bring arms just to shoulder height and pause here. Bring your left arm across, Right arm on top, and then bend your elbows. You have a choice to stay here, or you can turn your hands to face out and start to bring the backs of your hands towards each other. And then your final option might be to wrap your hands around, chin in slightly, lengthen up along the back of your neck. Just breathing here for a few moments. And maybe just noticing if one side is tighter for you than the other. Taking one more breath in and out. Unwind your hands, uncurl your arms, reaching all the way out to the side, and release. Taking hands underneath your legs. I'm going to turn sideways again. Bringing your feet hip distance apart again, arms all the way out. Take a breath in. Exhale, curl yourself back, and if you can, we're going to bring ourselves all the way down towards the mat. Reaching arms overhead. Nice big circle with your arms. Lift your head to look forward and see if you can roll all the way up. If you need to use your hands holding onto your legs, then go for it. Exhale, draw your tail under. Finding the connection into your core, reach back, circle your arms. Last two. And on this last one, we're going to stay on our backs. Exhale to curl back. Reach your arms overhead. Circle your arms around and bring your right knee up in towards your chest. Slide your left leg all the way out along the ground so you get a bit of an opening into that left hip flexor. Hook your hands behind your thighs. Flex your ankle. Breathe out as you extend your knee as much as you can. There's a lovely hamstring release. And then bend your knee in again. Exhale. Inhale. Two more. One more. Bend that knee in. Take a moment to just circle your ankle around. Get a little bit of energy and circulation moving into the feet and into the toes, and then change direction, go the other way. And then place that right foot down, anchoring into that foot, and place your hands just onto the shelf of your pelvis. Monitor that you can balance a cappuccino here right now. Letting your right knee unfold towards the side, but don't let your left hip come up. Exhale as you bring that knee back up, and can you feel the connection into that opposite oblique? Letting your right knee unfold. So this is a sling pattern that goes from the opposite oblique to the opposite inner thigh. Exhale and draw back to center. So our focus today is about creating stability, and our sling patterns are such a huge part of that. It's not just actually connecting to your core. It's about how do we connect them into our movement patterns. Inhale, open to the side, and then exhale, draw that leg back up. You're going to bring your left knee in towards you, slide your right leg all the way out. Hook your hands behind your thigh, flex your ankle. We breathe out and we extend. Bend your knee in. And again, exhale, extend. And release. Try and keep your head and shoulders as easy as possible. So if you need to put a little support under your head, then feel free to do that. Bring your knee in, hold it, circle your ankle, your foot, your toes. Change direction, go the other way. And then center yourself, placing that left foot onto the ground, hands onto your pelvis. Let your left knee open to the side. Double check that you haven't let your whole pelvis roll with you. And then exhale, draw back to center and waking up that sling pattern. Inhale, open your knee to the side. Exhale, draw back to the center, left inner thigh, right oblique. 2 more, breathing in. Exhale. Last one, breathing in. Exhale, and holding it here. Bending your right knee, placing your foot down. So you're going to have your knees and feet slightly apart, arms beside you, palms down or palms up, ready for a pelvic curl. Exhale, tilt your pelvis. Start rolling up into your bridge. And remember, it's the feeling of lifting from the base of your pelvis so that you really get the gluteals to do what they need to do. And roll down through your spine. Consciously placing yourself, knowing that you're in control of each of the movements. And again, tilting your pelvis back, there's the lower ab connection. And then as you roll up into your bridge, there is the gluteal connection, gluteus maximus. Take a little breath, relax your neck, and roll down through your spine. We're going to take 2 more. Tilting pelvis back. Squeezing gluteals. Pause for a moment. Roll down. And now on this last one, we're going to be staying up there for a few moments. So tilt your pelvis, making sure when you come up into your bridge that you're not taking any strain into your lower back, and now hold it here. You're going to pick up your right heel, so you're pressing onto the ball of the foot, keep your pelvis level, and then switch. So you lower the right heel and pick up the left. Switch. So you can immediately feel how this starts to engage the hamstrings, the back of the leg, right? Calf muscles working. Can you still keep that tilt of your pelvis? So you've still got your connection between the lower abs and the gluteals as you bring in the back of the leg. 2 more. 1 more. Place both feet flat. Bring both your hands up towards the sky. Find balance. And then start to roll down through your spine. Take your time. Feel the imprint. And then make sure that you release your pelvis all the way to neutral without straining your lower back. Palms of your hands face each other. Start scissoring your arms. So those of you that have done my series before, you know how much I love this movement because it is so simple, but it's just one of the best ways to remind ourselves that the movement of our hands and our arms, yes, it comes from the shoulder joint, but that shoulder joint is part of a bigger unit called the shoulder girdle. And it connects into our scapula on the back of our ribs. So as we move our hands through the air, there should be a gliding movement of our shoulder blades on the back of us. Bring your awareness to that glide. Last one. Bring your hands straight back up and hold it here. Interlock your fingers, place your hands underneath your head for support, and then just do a little bit of a wiggle of your ribs, a lengthening of your spine. Create a little bit of space for yourself and then come back to the center. Hover your elbows, create a hammock. Get your lower back in a happy place and then stabilize. Nod your chin. On your breath out, slide your ribs forward to your pelvis. Stay there. On your next breath, tilt your pubic bone towards your nose. So now you've got the lower abs kicking in right there. Now you're going to lift your toes off the ground, so you're flexing at the ankle. Release your toes down. Release your pelvis to neutral. Lower your ribs all the way down. Keep your elbows floating. Exhale, slide your ribs through. Tilt your pubic bone to your nose. Lift your toes, flexing at the ankles. Lower your feet. Release your pelvis. Lower your rib cage all the way back. And again, ribs slide through. Tilt your pubic bone. Lift your toes. Release your toes, pelvis, lower head and shoulders, all the way back. We've got 2 more sets. So it's very, very specific, the different muscles that we're connecting. Tilting your pelvis, there's the lower ab connection. As you dorsiflex your feet, can you feel how it loads the front line even more? Lower your feet, release your pelvis, lower your ribs. So there's your upper abs letting go. Last one. Tilt your pubic bone, lift your toes, release your feet, release your pelvis, lower all the way back and hold it there. Just press your elbows back. Let your ribs lift up so you get a little bit of a stretch for those abs and the diaphragm. Maybe you want to tilt your pelvis the other way to get a stretch. Open up through the front of the shoulders. And then soften your ribs, separate your hands, but just slide your hands out to the side so you're in a bent elbow position, palms of your hands facing up. And if this feels like it's too much of a stretch on the shoulder, then maybe you just need to bring the hands a little bit more overhead. So just feel what works for you. Holding it here, you're going to bring your right knee up to tabletop, abs connected. Bring your other knee up to join it and glue the knees and the feet together. Roll both your legs just a little bit over towards the right. And on your breath out, come back to the center using your abdominals, your obliques. Both knees over towards the left. Exhale, back to the center. Both knees over to the right. Breathing in, relaxing into the back of your neck. And exhale, center. Over towards the left. Chest nice and open. Exhale. One more time to the right. So it's very precise. No momentum involved here. One more time over towards the left. Exhale, back to the center and stay here. Bring your hands behind your knees and thighs. Nod your chin. Exhale, come forward into a chest lift. You can use your arms to help you, but then you need to be able to lock into the abdominals here. Extend your legs as straight as you can manage. There's that hamstring flexibility. Lower your left leg towards the floor. It doesn't get to rest. Hold on to the right leg and start to draw your leg towards your face. You're not lifting your head to your knee. Leg to you. Bring that left leg up. Switch. Lower your right leg. Hover it just off the ground. Draw your leg a little closer towards you. And now let's speed it up slightly so you transition in the air. transition. Secure your lower back. If anyone's taking strain in their neck, you know what? Just put one hand behind your head and just use one hand to pull that leg in. No big deal if you need to do this modification. Last 4. Last 3. 2 more. 1 more. Bring both legs up, hug them in, and lower head and shoulders all the way back down. Stay here just for a moment. Turn your head to one side. Get a little release around your neck. Over to the other side. So this is to release these muscles on the front of the neck called the sternocleidomastoid. So it's quite a big name, but it's your neck flexor muscles basically. Center your head, one hand on top of each knee, and let's just stir the cloud. So you're just going to create a little bit of mobility around the hip joint. A little bit of a rolling action in the hip. And then swap direction, change and go the other way. And you might notice that your pelvis and your lower back will kind of move with you. That's perfectly normal as well. Bring yourself back to the center, placing your feet all the way down, and now extend your legs out long. We're going to be doing a roll up from here. So you're going to squeeze your legs together, point your toes or flex, it's completely up to you. Put your hands on the sides of your thighs. Lift your head to look forward, and on your breath out, slide your hands down the sides of your legs, bringing your hands all the way towards your ankles. Stay there for a moment as you breathe into the back of your body, and then exhale and roll yourself all the way back down. So we're bringing together a lot of the exercises that we've done so far. Lift your head to look forward. So there's all the abdominal work that we were focusing on. And then as you curl forward, there's the hamstring release that we were working on. Breathing into the back of your body like we did in our warm-up. And then exhale, roll back. And again, this is tapping into all that half roll back that we did at the beginning. Finding the connections and finding the control. 2 more. Lift your head, exhale, stretch forward, take a breath in, and exhale, back you come. Send your feet away from you as you curl yourself away from your feet. So it's about finding opposition. 1 more time, inhale, exhale, long stretch forward, take a breath in, and then exhale, unravel, and sitting up nice and tall. Pick up your left foot and cross your left foot over. Flex the right foot, and then take a moment just to make sure that you're seated on both your bum cheeks. Left hand props you up, right hand reaches, and guide yourself into that little spiral. Hook your elbow or hold on, and just softly looking over that left shoulder. 5 breaths in and out here. Remember, there's no forcing. Finding that gentle connection with your breath, and just allowing that to guide you. So this is now a closed twist. Whereas in our warm-up today, we did an open twist as part of our preparation. 1 more, take a breath in. And then exhale, release. Unwind, stretching that leg all the way out. Give your knees a little bit of a shake. And now step your right foot up and over. Flex the left foot, hand behind you for support. Left arm reaches. So I do this because it helps create space along your spine. And then as you come into that little bit of a twist, there's not a feeling of compressing, hopefully. Looking softly over your right shoulder. And just taking a moment to breathe. And just noticing how this feels around the neck, the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. So that eagle arm stretch that we did at the beginning of class, beautiful warm up for bringing our upper body into this rotation. Taking one more breath in and out. And then exhale, release. Uncross your legs, stretching your legs out. Give your knees just a little bit of a shake. Place your hands just a little bit behind you with your fingers pointing out. Separate your legs slightly. And you're just going to flex one ankle as you point the other toes away. And then switch. And switch. So again, this seems like such an easy exercise, which it is. But it's called the circulation drill. And we have this connective tissue around our calf muscles that's responsible for pumping blood back to our hearts. So if we are suffering from poor circulation, or if you are stuck in bed, and I know a lot of people at the moment not feeling great and maybe sort of getting stuck in bed for a period of time, this is a fantastic exercise to do, just to keep the circulation going. So we were talking about jumping on trampolines earlier and how great they are for lymph drainage. This is the same thing, same movement. And then bring yourself back to the center. You're going to stand on both your feet. Your knees are bent and your knees are slightly separated, and so are your feet. On your breath out, see if you can balance on your hands and feet and just lift your bottom off the ground. Just test it out for a moment. Notice if you need to adjust your placement at all, and then releasing your pelvis down. If you need to move hands or feet, then please go for it. We're going to be coming a little higher this time. So on your next breath, hover your pelvis, find equal balance on hands and feet, and then continue lifting up into a reverse tabletop position, pressing out of your arms. Let your head go where it feels good for you. Take a little breath, and then exhale and hinging pelvis all the way back down. 2 more times. Hover your pelvis, and then start lifting from the base of your bum. Get the gluteus maximus to kick in. Notice the opening across your chest and shoulders. And then exhale and releasing down. This is our last one. Exhale, pressing up. A little bit of weight bearing on all the joints. Stay for a moment to breathe in. And then exhale. And releasing all the way down. Just give your hands a little bit of a shake. I'm going to turn to face you. You sit however feels comfortable. Coming into a mermaid seat, I want your right shin in the front and your left shin over towards the side. And then from here, let's go into a little bit of lateral flexion of the spine. So coming into that seaweed, opening up along that side body. Taking 2 more. 1 more, long reach over, hold it there, and then just straighten up both your arms. You're going to bend your top elbow, so you've still got your right hand on the floor, and we're going to bend that right elbow to come into a little bit of a tricep push-up, and then press away again. So it doesn't have to be a big movement. But what I do want you to really focus on is that you're keeping your shoulder girdle stable. So we did arm scissors earlier to help us figure out where our scapula are on the back of our body. And now bring your same awareness to the scapula and get them to glue themselves to your ribs behind you. Last 2. Last 1. Release up. Taking your top arm, reach. Take a breath in as you take it all the way back to open up the chest. And then exhale, bringing that arm all the way around. Take your hands flat to the ground. You might want to separate your hands a little bit. And then just square your shoulders, relax your neck, close your eyes. We're not going to do any movement today. We're simply going to come into this rotation of the spine, the spiral of the legs, and we're simply breathing. One more time. Bringing your right hand a little bit back to the center, picking up your left arm, take a little peek underneath, and then exhale to come all the way back up. Holding onto your left ankle, you're going to help yourself step your foot all the way across. If this is too much on your hips, then rather just come here. Okay, but if you can get it all the way to the side, then go for it. Sitting evenly on your bum cheeks, you could stay here. If it's feeling quite nice on your body, you can take your left hand behind you, right hand reaching up. And now we come into a seated spine twist with both knees bent. Guys, you've got lots of modifications that we've done leading up to this. So you can choose one of those modifications if you need. You can put your hand on your knee. You can uncross that foot, or you can even stretch that underneath leg out. Taking one more breath in, long exhale, and then slowly release and unwind, uncross, and just pivot your feet over towards the other side. So now you're going to have your left shin at the front, coming into your seaweed. Lovely big side to side movement. Taking 2 more. One more time. Long stretch over. And then straighten both your arms. Hold it here. Salute with your top hand. Double check that your fingers are pointing away from you on the floor. And into your tricep dip. And so feel the connection of your scapula on your rib cage at the back. And the shoulder joint is called a ball and socket joint. So it's actually got a lot of mobility, but sometimes it can get very tight. And whatever's happening at your shoulder joint is going to have a ripple effect down to the elbow. So the elbow is called a hinge joint. It kind of classically moves just in one direction, right? But if your shoulder is compensating, you might notice that your elbow has to point a certain direction. So don't force it. Just notice on your own body where you need to be. Press up and hold. Take your top arm, reach it all the way back, open up your chest, and then exhale, roll over, placing your hands to the floor, maybe slide the left hand out a little bit, square your shoulders, and then close your eyes. Feeling the spiral traveling through your body all the way from the top of your neck, around your torso, around your pelvis, over your hips, your knees, your ankles, and your feet. Take a little breath in. Blink your eyes open. You're going to bring your left hand a little bit back to the middle. You're going to reach that top arm all the way up. Coming up, holding on to the outside ankle, and then help yourself into your placement. So either having your foot a little bit to the front or stepping it all the way across, but then you want to make sure that you can actually get that bum cheek down. You can stay here, or you can support yourself, reach up, and coming into a little bit of a spiral. So this is the full seated spine twist. Having both knees bent, just feel it out. And what you were able to do on the one side might be different from this side. So you might be in a completely different shape, which is absolutely fine. Taking one more breath in and out. Release. Uncross that leg, bring it behind you, and make your way onto all fours. So coming onto hands and knees, get your wrists in a comfortable position, spreading your fingers out. Tuck your toes under for a moment. And on your next breath, just hinge your hips back so you get a bit of weight loading into the ankles and the feet, and release to the front. And let's do that again. Press back and release. So this is really designed to mobilize the knuckles of the toes, of the soles of the feet. But if your quadriceps are really tight, or if you've got knee issues, you might actually feel it here instead. So you don't have to go all the way back. One more time. And bring yourself forward and hold it there, releasing your feet all the way back. Taking your right leg, extend it. Lift your leg up, hold it, and then flex your ankle so you're pushing out through the heel of your foot. Keep your pelvis level, your lower abs connected, and can you start to feel the connection into your right gluteus maximus here? Point your toe, round your spine, and draw your knee towards your nose. Send your leg back, flex your ankle, wake up gluteals. Point your toe, round your spine, and really get the sensation of your abs lifting. Send your leg back, flex your ankle, push through the heel. Point your toe, round your spine. Send your leg back and flex. One more time. Point, round, belly button lifting. Send your leg all the way back. Flex. Stay here for a moment. Walking your left fingertips forward. See if you can pick up that left hand and just balance. Core connection, upper body stability, glue the scapula, energy through the heel of your foot. Point your back toes, bring your hand and knee back in. Take a moment to settle yourself back into a resting position, bringing your head all the way towards the ground. Bring the palms of your hands together to touch, and then bend your elbows to place your hands behind your head and neck. So we're coming into a resting position. So there's a stretch and a release along your back. But also what we're doing is stretching the triceps, because we worked them a few seconds ago, and we're taking the weight off our hands and wrists. Take another breath in, and then release, stretching your hands out. Draw yourself up again onto all fours, and we're ready to do the left side. Extend your left leg back, bring your leg up and hold it here. Flex your ankle so you're pushing out through the heel of your foot. So there is a connection between gluteus maximus and lower abdominals. Those two muscles work together to stabilize our lower back. We want to find balance here. Point your toe, round your spine, draw knee to nose. Send your leg back and flex your ankle. Point your toe, round your spine, knee to nose. Send your leg back, flex your foot, reach. 2 more rounds, point. Really get the feeling of lifting your belly button away from your thigh. Extend back and flex. This is your last one. Point, round your spine. Send your leg back. Flex, hold it here. See if you can walk your right fingertips forward. Lift that arm up slightly. It doesn't have to be a big lift because we do want to keep the shoulders and the pelvis as level as possible. Taking 1 breath in and out. Point your toe. Bring that hand and knee back in. Open your knees. Settle yourself back. Come into your resting position once again. Hands together. Bend your elbows. And they go behind your head for a little bit of support. Taking 1 more breath in. Bringing your hands all the way out in front of you. Come up onto hands and knees. You might want to come a little bit forward on your mat. We're going to be going into a push-up position here. Spread your fingers out and take your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders. One leg stretches back, tuck the toes under. Other leg stretches back, tuck the toes under, and you hold it here. You're going to press your pelvis up and back, sending the heels towards the floor, and then hinge forward again. So you don't want to move your hands and feet. Send your hips up and back. So it's a downward facing dog position or a pike position, and then come forward. But we have a very long base, so it might feel quite challenging. 2 more. Pressing up and back. And hinge forward. 1 more time, hinging up and back. Press away from your thumbs, roll the shoulders back. Come forward, hold it. Now place your knees to the ground, release your toes back, bend your elbows to come all the way down towards the ground. So you're gonna lie flat on your stomach and hold it here. Keep your hands where they are so your elbows are lifted. Stretch your legs out long. We inhale to come into baby cobra and exhale, release. We inhale, baby cobra, and exhale, release. 2 more. Inhale, baby cobra. Use your breath to guide the movement. 1 more time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release, stay here. Firm up your abs and bum. Press into your hands. Can you come up onto your knees? Tuck your toes. Well done, guys. Press up into a plank position. Lift your hips up and back for downward facing dog. And then start to walk your feet forward. Coming all the way forward. And then crouch down. Hopefully everybody's knees are happy with this. Nice crouch. Just roll around on the knuckles of the toes. Change direction, roll around the other way. Say to yourself, Move your hands just a little bit behind you so you can place your bottom down and bring your feet out in front of you. So separate your feet to the width of the mat again. Let your knees relax out. Overlap one hand on top of the other. And I want you to see if you can reverse it. So instinctively, I put my left arm down first and then my right hand on top. I'm going to change it. So I'm going to put my right hand down first and then the left hand on top. It feels a little bit weird for me. But we're going to rest the head down. And once again, just roll your forehead lightly along your arm from side to side. And then say to yourself, allowing your head to rest. Return yourself for a moment to your breath. Feeling that opening along the back of your body, the softening through your hips. Taking a little bit of a scan over your body to notice the shift that has taken place. Where have you been able to soften and let go? Just taking one more deep inhale through your nose. Long exhale through your mouth. Blink your eyes open. Slowly unravel, sitting all the way up and tall, and give everything a little bit of a shake. Nicely done, everyone.